Good day and welcome back to episode 5 of the Animerica podcast.
Bad phrasing, Donald. Start over.
What? How?
You said welcome back to episode 5.
Yeah, back to the podcast. It's episode 5.
No, you said welcome back to episode 5. Episode 5 is just starting, though.
Yeah, I'm welcoming them back from the other 4 episodes.
Please stop talking.
All right, whatever. This is typically where we'd put the anime news segment, but there isn't really any to talk about. Or maybe there is. I don't know. I didn't look.
Lazy bastard.
There was that 100 Girlfriends anime that got announced a couple weeks ago that we forgot to talk about. I have no idea what it is, but based on the title, I'll probably be watching it when it comes out.
No surprise there. You really didn't miss out on much news, though. Nothing super crazy happened. I did hear recently that PA Works is coming out with a new movie, though. It's supposed to be about a whiskey distillery or something. Might be cool.
I guess. Probably won't watch it. Is that the biggest news from the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, pretty much. That and Fire Force Season 3 got announced. Also in industry news, the Right Stuff anime COO stepped down, which is sad to see.
Damn, I forgot Right Stuff existed. I used to buy all my hentai DVDs off there, but then they took it away. They took my porn, Joe.
Haha, yeah, I didn't use it for that, but I guess I can understand the disappointment there. I just stopped using it after they got bought by Crunchyroll because I don't want to give Crunchyroll money. Also, I thought you pirated stuff, Donald.
Yeah, I pirate anime, but I buy the hentai.
Why?
Look, after Hentai Haven went down, I realized that everything could be gone at any second. Your whole life could forever change, but with DVDs, they'll never leave you. They'll be with you forever.
You know what? I respect that.
Anyways, what have you guys been watching? Same as usual?
Yeah, pretty much. I did start watching Skip and Loafer, and it's actually become my favorite of the season so far. Just a really nice high school slice of life romance jam.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that. Probably won't get to watching it, though. Since we had some time off recently, I decided to just chill and not watch any anime. And you know what? It ended up being the first time I felt happiness in years. Now I have to catch up on like 10 shows, though, which is going to be a chore. I should probably just drop most of them.
I get dropping stuff after you get behind, but you better not drop Hell's Paradise, Barack. It's heat.
No, not really. In fact, that's the anime I'm least excited about. You see, I've just seen too many shonen, so it feels like I've basically seen everything at this point. It all blends together into a big shit smoothie.
That's a sad way to look at things. There's always some unique stuff out there. You've just got to look in the right places. Either way, I've been watching anime for longer than you, but I still love watching the same kind of stuff I did back in '93. I think you're just working your brain too hard trying to analyze every detail. Shows don't have to be objective masterpieces for you to enjoy them.
I agree. You shit on me all the time for watching hot trash, but you know, sometimes I know it's trash. I just don't care and enjoy it. You know that show, Do You Like Your Mom and her 2-hit multi-attacks? You know, the MILF Isekai? That shit was ass, but I loved every second of it.
I will never understand you, Donald. One day you will have 70,000 anime watched and you'll get what I mean. Let me give you one example. At one point, Michelle and I were having some marital troubles, and so I got addicted to romance anime. But now I don't even touch them because I'm tired of seeing the same characters do the same things over and over again with all the same plot beats and same resolution.
Every genre has its own tropes and characteristics, Barack. Shouldn't be a
You
deal
don't get
breaker.
what I'm saying. Almost every romance anime is going to be about the characters getting together. And then it'll end when they do. The protagonist is going to be a generic loser, and he has a childhood friend that's only there to make the new girl look more interesting. And if they get rejected, they just keep on trying. Of course, they always take place in high school and have the same exact arcs, like the school festival arc. And worst of all, most of the whole plot usually hinges on stupid misunderstandings.
You know, I agree with a lot of what you just said, but I just don't care. I still enjoy it and don't really think about it much. Why don't you just stop watching? Or at least watch less? Do you really think your opinion is valued so much that anime will get worse and worse without your input?
Untrue. You guys just don't understand my superior intellect. That's sarcasm,
Barack,
by
you
the
are
way.
so tiring to deal with. I swear you'll enjoy something like High School DxD and then try to justify it to yourself by saying it's the pinnacle of art and has profound religious symbolism. Like, nah, be for real. You liked it for the titties.
Yeah, well, fucking whatever. Man, do I even like anime anymore?
Anyways, go watch Hell's Paradise. It's peak.
Nah, Barack was actually kind of right. It's not that good.
Like you know anything, Joe. You don't even watch shonen.
Yeah, and shows like Hell's Paradise are exactly why. Nothing will ever surpass Astro Boy.
Actually, I think Astro Boy 2003 surpassed the original.
Wrong, but valid, I guess.
That reminds me, have you guys heard about Pluto? Not the
Gotta
planet,
be my
but-
least favorite planet.
God damn it, it's a classic manga by Naoki Urasawa based on Astro Boy. An anime adaptation had been in the works for a while, but we finally got a trailer a couple months ago. Joe, you're gonna lose your mind when it comes out, in the good way.
You really said all that to me like I, the #1 Astro Boy fan in America, had not heard of Pluto before. I am disappointed in you.
All right, enough of that old shit. I have something I want to talk about. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but KamiKatsu just keeps getting better. They just put a filter over real-life footage of a guy on a tractor and drew the character's face over top. This anime has got to be the greatest shitpost I've ever seen.
Do people really enjoy shitposts?
I have seen the clip on Twitter. It's pretty funny. I have to imagine it's going to get old pretty fast, though. It's like they saw the crazy stylistic stuff in Bocchi the Rock and just implemented it without any actual artistic intent. Again, it's funny for now, but I hope they don't go overboard with it. It's really the only reason to watch the show.
I don't really get that comparison. KamiKatsu is way better than Bocchi.
What? Are my ears working correctly? Bocchi was the best anime of last year.
What are you on about? It's just K-On, but the protagonist can't fucking do anything, and K-On was already shit.
What's wrong with you, man? It's nothing like K-On other than the fact that they're both shows about girls and bands. As a man with social anxiety, I found it very relatable and funny.
Nobody cares about that shit, Joe. And there's no way you have social anxiety. You're literally on a podcast where it's your job to socialize with us.
No, I believe him. Have you heard him try to give a speech, Donald? It makes sense. Every time he speaks, it sounds like he's just trying to put together random words in Scrabble. And most of them are made up. Anyways, Joe, your Bocchi stance is interesting. The only negative thing I've seen about the show is that people are offended by how it comically exaggerates real-life problems.
That's a load of balls. Whoever is saying that yeah. Okay, I thought I would think of a good joke by the end of the sentence, but it never happened. Either way, obviously they exaggerate stuff for comedy, and if that's your complaint, you're just missing the point. What they're doing is accurately communicating the overwhelming anxiety that we experience while still being goofy enough for other people to enjoy. I feel like the only people saying what you said have never experienced what it's depicting.
No, I think some people just feel like the show is mocking them.
I feel like I am being mocked every time someone says it's peak fiction.
Shut up, Donald. You won't watch anything where the protagonist isn't an overpowered 12-year-old with no personality and a harem.
You're right, Joe. I have good taste. There's nothing wrong with liking that kind of character. That reminds me, have you guys seen that anime protagonist tier list floating around?
How did you see that, Donald? I thought you didn't have Twitter.
Joe texted it to me, so I guess Joe has seen it, so that was kind of a pointless question. Anyways, we're not going to do tier lists or anything. I just thought it might be interesting to talk about what makes a good protagonist.
That's an interesting inquiry, to be sure. It's hard to pin down. There's not really a set of rules you can follow to end up with a good protag. Just looking at my favorite characters, you've got Lelouch, Spike Spiegel, and Shinji Ikari, who are nothing alike. And yes, you heard that last one correctly. I'll defend that motherfucker to the end of the earth. But they do all have one thing in common, and that's internal conflict. They're trying to overcome themselves, and I love it when they do that.
Personally, I like when the protagonists are cute girls. When they do the cute things, it's phenomenal.
This conversation is such a waste of time. Some characters are just well written and some aren't. Can we move on to a more interesting topic?
Barack, I bet your favorite protagonist is Eren from Attack on Titan because it shows how war criminals can be people too.
You're one to talk.
If I'm being for real, though, as long as they don't have the same boring-ass, black-haired high schooler, I'm good. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Not entirely sure what just came out of your mouth, but I think I agree. Those generic-ass, short black hair having, ahoge having, background character looking, hentai protagonist with eyes looking, copy and paste Bryce Papenbrook voice having motherfuckers. Can't stand it.
Hey, don't hate on Bryce. He does a great job with what he's given. It's not his fault he gets miscast sometimes.
Nah, he uses the same voice for everything, and it gets annoying real quick.
Hey, Donald, what are your thoughts on Nagito Kamida?
Oh, he's perfect. Let me tell you, Joe, Nagito is a tremendous character, believe me. The best character, really. Possibly the greatest in all of fiction. People love him, they do. Many people have told me, Donald, Nagito is amazing. And I have to say, I agree with them. He's a complete wild card. Sometimes he's just a homie, but then he'll just go completely insane. And when he goes insane, I've got to say, whoever does his voice did a great job. Not to mention...
You just agreed with me.
Good play, Joe.
What? You telling me Nagito voices Bryce Papenbrook? It sounds nothing like him. Plus, he's already voicing Makoto. Why would he voice two characters in the same series?
It's true, Donald. Google it. And if you think voicing more than one character is impossible, clearly you have never read the credits of Kingdom Hearts 3. Every actor voices like 2 people at least.
You're right. I've never read the credits because the game is so ass I never made it to the end. You can't tell me you watched every 3-hour cutscene of Sora on FaceTime with Alvin and the Chipmunks and found it enjoyable.
Sounds like you're just bad at the game. The skip cutscene button is right there. And it's literally like that for the entire series. So don't come talking to me like you just found out the cutscenes are slow. Unless you started with 3, which would be a whole other problem.
All right, fellas, chill out and keep it to anime, please. Donald, it's your turn to talk about the anime protagonists or whatever we were talking about.
Yeah, fine. We'll continue that conversation later, Joe. For anime protagonists, I know I'll get hate for this, but as long as they're badass and not super annoying, I'm having a good time. It's down to a few simple principles, really. First, they've got to have a good motivation. If they're kind of just standing there existing for no reason, I have no reason to watch. That's why I can't stand most slice of life garbage. And 2, they got to be able to shoot a man while looking cool. A good example would be Kirito.
If you don't like them to be annoying, then how can you like Naruto? That kid is more annoying than Barack.
Hey,
I do like Naruto. He's cool. I don't know what you're talking about.
was he still cool in all the filler episodes?
You didn't have to bring the filler episodes into this. That's completely unrelated. And no, he's just as cool. He's even cool in Boruto, which has been great since Kishimoto came back, by the way. The filler arcs aren't even that bad, though. They're only annoying because there's so many.
I haven't seen much of Naruto, but I assume it ruins the pacing as well.
Pacing is just one of those buzzwords people say to think they know what they're talking about.
No, it's an actual thing, Donald. You're pretty on the money, though, Joe. Thankfully, filler isn't much of a problem anymore since most shows have gone seasonal.
True, it still exists, though. Like in Jojo, you can just skip the first part and be totally fine.
That's not filler, Donald. Filler is anime original stuff that wasn't in the manga. Also, I didn't think you'd be a part skipper. I'm disappointed.
Part 1 is mid as hell, so I think it's okay.
Nah, bro, part 1 is the only one that's kind of bearable.
That's just because you don't like having fun, Joe. Part 1 is just boring. I watched like 2 episodes and dipped.
Yeah, well, I didn't finish it either, but at least I don't feel like I'm losing my mind while watching it, like with the other parts.
Joe, you definitely wouldn't like JoJo's, but Donald, you've got to finish part 1. Skipping any part is a sin, but part 1 is really underrated, and it's a shame people skip it.
Nah, I'm good.
If you say so. I've seen every part, and it's all worth it, in my opinion. Sometimes I even switch it up and watch them out of order.
Dear Lord, don't tell me you've watched it in basement order.
I did, Donald. It was actually an interesting way to re-experience the show. Can't believe that guy got hate for it.
You can't just post the stupidest shit ever conceived and not get hate for it.
That's not fair, Donald. He made a pretty good video about how it could be interesting to watch parts out of order, and people liked it so much they asked for a graphic of the example he gave. But then a bunch of people saw it without context and thought he was saying it was the best way to watch JoJo, and so they dogpiled his ass.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I bet you didn't even watch the video.
Sometimes you don't need to waste like 30 minutes to know something is stupid, man. Especially when the rest of their videos are shit. Why are you defending some random weirdo you don't even know?
Sometimes you just gotta stand up for what is right. You're full of baloney, Donald.
Yeah, well, your mom is full of my baloney.
Dude, my mom's been dead for 28 years.
Damn, Barack, he got you good. It's Jover for you.
Ha ha ha, that's really clever. Hold on, I want to think of one for myself. Okay, hey Joe,
What?
you're Don Old.
That was terrible. Don't make me bring out Dark Brandon.
Stop trying to be hip, Joe.
Don't be a hater. I'm gonna hit you with that Biden. Blah!
For the love of God, Joe, shut the hell up.
I'm sorry.
I'm not joking about this. That was the least funny exchange of words I've ever heard. These last couple of minutes have been genuinely painful.
Yeah, Joe, you are single-handedly killing this podcast. I can already see the comments saying we fell off.
You're part of the problem, idiot.
Do you have dementia? Well, lucky for you, this video is sponsored by, do you have dementia? Well, do you have dementia?
You good, Joe? Shit. Hey, everybody, our sponsor is Dementia Reminder. It's an app that reminds you that you have dementia once a week. Buy it for $30 on the App Store.
Do you have dementia?
No, I don't.
Do you? Oh my God, Dementia Reminder just reminded me I have dementia. How cool. Do you have dementia?
Fuck,
Well, this video
Michelle,
is
shut it
sponsored
off.
by...
You guys aren't going to believe this, but I tried to get into light novels recently.
Really? I didn't know you could read.
Yeah, well, I tried, but I couldn't get through a single chapter.
What were you trying to read?
Classroom of the Elite. The anime is great, and I needed to know what happens next, but I just couldn't do it. Light novels just can't hold my attention. I need more pictures.
Yeah, I get that. Wait, now that I think about it, how are light novels different from regular novels?
Well, actually, I've got no idea. If I had to guess, it's because the volumes are shorter and they release kind of like manga, and they have anime art. That's just a guess, though. I really have no idea.
Yeah, that would make sense, I guess. I wish you knew what you were talking about, but thanks anyway.
All right, time for our audience question of the day. Rising wants to know our top 3 to 5 least favorite anime. Let's go with 3. And Barack, I won't say Ava if you don't say SAO. That cool?
Works for me.
All right, I'm going to start off with the 7 Deadly Sins. It was fire for the first 2 seasons and had great animation, but then it all went to shit from season 3 on. I've never been so disappointed.
Agreed. I'm also going to have to say the 7 Deadly Sins. It started as the usual shit shonen with decent animation, and then, like you said, the quality just got all kinds of fucked up. The story was never good either. Meliodas is one of the worst protagonists I've ever seen. The character designs are all boring, and the relationships are all weird as hell. It does pretty much everything wrong.
Interesting. Well, for mine, I'm going to have to say the 7 Deadly Sins. I haven't even seen it. It just seems like it's bad. After that, I don't know. It's hard to choose. Just kidding. It's ToHeart, Remember My Memories.
Not that one, Joe. You've already mentioned it like 5 times.
That's an exaggeration, but I swear if you let me go in depth here, I'll never mention it again.
Fine, just get it over with.
Okay, so ToHeart is a great romance, aro-gay visual novel made by Leaf back in, I think, 1997. Most people have played ToHeart too, but I actually prefer the original. It has quite the colorful cast of characters, including the legendary Multi, a clumsy green-haired robot maid. She's the most iconic and popular character, though she's not actually the main girl, so that's not important. Anyways, around 1999, it got an anime adaptation from OLM. They were coming off the heels of Berserk 97 and the first season of Pokemon.
I always find it funny as fuck they were making Pokemon and Berserk at the same time. I just imagine the animators drawing Pikachu being all cute and stuff, and then later that day drawing the most traumatic scene you'll ever witness.
Agreed. And then they made an adaptation of a hentai game, but without the sex, unfortunately for Donald. Anyways, the first ToHeart anime is a very nice time. If you like the slice of life romance, I'd recommend giving it a shot.
Okay, so don't watch it then. Got it.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it, Donald, but some people in the audience might. The animation, art, atmosphere, and presentation in general it's just great. And though there's multiple romance options in the original game, the anime isn't a harem, it just takes the route of the main heroine. Like I said, it's an overall good time and actually has a good romantic conclusion in only 13 episodes. But then...
Oh my goodness, have we finally found our way to the point?
Yes. In 2004, they made a sequel, which I'm pretty sure was made to promote ToHeart 2. It was called ToHeart, Remember My Memories. I don't even know where to start with this trash fire. First off, the show looks like complete ass. It was 2004, and I guess they hadn't figured out digital art yet, so the characters are constantly derpy and off-model. The voice acting is also just horrendous. All the actors sound like they only had one take to record and just happened to be constipated the whole time. And that even includes Yui Horie, who plays Multi.
Nah, you're making that up. You can't be remembering that correctly. I don't believe it.
It's true. She sounds like a broken dog toy in this show. God, how I wish there was an English dub to save me from that nonsense. And as I've mentioned before, sometimes the dialogue, it doesn't even match the lip flaps. The one saving grace is that blonde chick that speaks English. I think her name was Remy.
I'm pretty sure that's Ratatouille, Joe.
No, wait, no, you're right. It was Lemmy, like Lemmy Kilmister. Anyways, the show doesn't stop being bad there. I haven't even started on the story. They completely went back on the ending of the original and just reset all the romance that happened in it. And they've made it a harem, a really bad one. I assume the idea was to cash in on the big harem boom at the time. Anyways, here's an example of how bad the story is. For like half the season, one of the girls shows zero romantic interest in Yukihiro. Fuck. I mean Hiroyuki, the protagonist. I don't think the girl even gets much screen time because there's literally a new arc every 2 episodes completely unrelated to the last. Anyways, as I was saying, she just randomly shows up out of nowhere and asks him on a date, and he agrees, which is weird to begin with, but that's not the problem. After going on a date, she confesses her love to Hiroyuki, and he's like, "What? You like me? I had no idea." Bro, you literally just went on a date. This show is actually painful. I audibly laughed for a moment after that, and then cried for 3 hours. All right, guys, that's it.
Thank God. I will say you really did make it sound horrible, so I'll give you props.
Wait, I forgot one important detail.
Oh, what is it now?
They play the OP at the end of every single episode. At the beginning too, of course, but they play it for dramatic effect. and it never works. It just gets super annoying. I swear I have flashbacks every time I hear the opening notes. And in the last episode, they play it 3 times because there's a post-credit scene, and they play it there too. Okay, I'm done now.
Thanks, Joe. Sounded real important.
Then next on my list, I guess I would say Death Note. Never been into the mind game kind of stuff. Nothing against the anime, it's just not my thing. I'd rather watch something relaxing and fun than something that takes itself so incredibly seriously.
Can't agree with you on that, Joe. Did you know I'm in the Death Note manga? They had me buy a Death Note for $10 billion. It was pretty funny. I would definitely do that if it was real. Also, Joe, you weren't supposed to say all 3 at once, but I guess we can go with it. Chainsaw Man is next for me. I've already talked about how the show looks like ass, but I also don't like how they tried to make it all like cinematic in Hollywood. It's anime, embrace it. And after that, I'm sorry, Joe, but my last one was one of your recommendations. Gamers was just so frustrating to watch. It's just a series of stupid misunderstandings on top of stupid misunderstandings.
Yeah, that was when I figured out what your taste was. It's okay, though. You don't have to like peak fiction.
That's cap. Gamers is garbage. Anyways, I guess I should say my next 2 then. I've seen a lot of bad anime, but it's hard to think of one I hated the most. I guess I can say Assassination Classroom. Hot take, I know, and this one isn't based on any analysis or anything. I just thought it was obnoxious. I hate the art style with the super hard outlines and no noses, and none of the characters were interesting whatsoever. Koro-sensei made me want to jump off a staircase, but not like a tall staircase because I don't want to go to the hospital, just like the stairs on a kiddie slide. On a side note, Heavenly Delusion looks absolutely phenomenal right now because the characters actually have noses. After that, Sword Art Online.
Fuck off!
Chill out, I'm just goofing. For real, I don't know, maybe Arifureta. It's low-hanging fruit, but it's low-hanging fruit for a reason. It started off as being so bad it's good, but sadly transitioned to being unwatchable garbage incredibly fast. Like, even the soundtrack sucks. How does that even happen?
You pay attention to soundtracks?
Well, not usually, but sometimes they do things that make them stand out, like sucking ass. There is some great anime music out there, though. My favorite composers have got to be Shiro Sagisu and Susumu Hirasawa. Not to mention all the good anime cover bands like Platina Jazz.
You are the kind of guy who would have favorite anime composers.
Arifureta is just shit in that department, though, and every other department. Just all around horrendous.
Damn, I guess I'm the only one that actually likes that show.
How the hell did you like it with all the garbage CGI?
There was CG? It must have been so good that I didn't even notice. Personally, I think the show is a real hidden gem.
What, do you even know what hidden gem means?
Yeah, it's just stuff that isn't mainstream. Like, I don't know, Haikyuu, for example.
Okay, Haikyuu is actually good, but it's not a hidden gem, dude. It's super popular.
Okay, but if you went up to someone random on the street, they wouldn't know what it is.
By that metric, AOT, Dragon Ball, Naruto, and One Piece are the only anime that aren't hidden gems.
Yeah, you gotta think before you speak, Donald. Real hidden gems are stuff like Silver Spoon or Space Brothers. They're really good, they just aren't super popular.
Have you considered that they aren't popular because they're bad?
No, Donald, some things just don't appeal to a huge audience, released in unfortunate circumstances, or maybe even just had terrible marketing.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that can stop an anime from gaining traction. Like Netflix, for example. Also, Joe, I'm surprised you've watched Space Brothers. That's like 100 episodes.
Well, I haven't finished it, but yeah, I'm surprised with myself too. I just can't stop watching. I remember once someone told me it was short though, because all the mainstream anime are at least like 300 episodes long.
It really do be like that. I see a lot of posts on social media that are like, here's 5 short anime to watch, but they're just 12 episodes, which is just the standard anime season.
It is still kind of short though.
In the context of anime, though, a short anime would be anything from 1 to 11 episodes. Or at least that's what I think.
Nah, I think 12 episodes is still short, but anything over 35 is long.
Yeah, that's fair.
I get what you're saying. I feel like anything over 300 episodes can be classified as too long as well.
For sure, I'd say like 150, but 300 is too long as well. I can't commit to something that long.
Understandable. Some long series are totally justified, though.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, you've got something like Rent a Girlfriend, which is going on 250 chapters for the manga, and should have ended like 150 chapters ago.
You have to admit, it's still kind of fun to read, though.
Kinda. Maybe. Perhaps, possibly, mayhaps. I used to actually enjoy it, but now I only read it because it's fun to make fun of. I'd be surprised if anyone is legitimately enjoying it anymore.
We're too far in at this point. It's not like I'm going to turn back at chapter 243. I do think it gets too much hate, though. There are still good things about it.
Are you sure?
The art is still good. Have you seen the cover for the new volume?
Okay, I'll give you that. But seriously, I don't know if I've ever seen a protagonist quite as bad as Kazuya. I swear One Piece is going to end before he gets any character development.
Oh, stop. He's super overhated. Sure, he has his bad moments, but he's a pretty relatable guy. I think he just looks bad because all the other characters are so good.
There's no way you think that, Donald. None of the characters are good. Cute, maybe, but not good. Kazuya literally rejects any chance at character development and starts going backwards. Nothing wrong with starting your MC off as a complete loser, but there is a problem when 200 chapters in, he's even worse than he was at the beginning. The whole thing is just a complete shit show. How do I even describe the quality of Rent-A-Girlfriend? It's like when you're eating a bowl of Lucky Charms and then run out of marshmallows. And so now you just got these bland-ass Cheerio things sitting there. So what do? You either throw it out or you painfully eat the rest of it. Reading Rent-A-Girlfriend is like eating the Cheerio shit. But it went stale 10 years ago, and the author just comes in every 5 months to add in a quart of milk.
Do you really only eat the marshmallows? What's wrong with you? The nutritious bit is the best part.
Yeah, Barack, you're acting like that other stuff isn't good. You're just making yourself look stupid. The marshmallows are the worst.
Are you guys being serious right now? In that case, fuck you guys for having shit taste in cereal, but also just imagine Kazuya is all the marshmallows.
That makes even less sense than what you were saying before. But if you were trying to say it fell off and Kazuya sucks, then I agree. It's sad how the manga took a unique concept and then immediately imploded. I don't think I've ever seen such a quick decline.
Yeah, usually it takes a little longer. It took Death Note 25 episodes, which was also pretty fast. Usually it takes a couple of seasons, though, like with Seven Deadly or BNHA.
My hero never fell off, Barack. What are you talking about? Aren't you hyped for season 7?
No, I almost even put it in my least favorites list, so consider it an honorable mention.
Okay, so when did it fall off then?
Well, season 1 was mid, but nothing terrible. Season 2 was good. Season 3 was a decline, but season 4 is where they just shit the bed.
Season 4 is my favorite season. I can't believe you're saying this.
We all know that's only because there's a school festival arc, Joe. Let me explain myself.
Please don't.
Season 4 is basically filler. This is going to be hard to explain without major spoilers, but I'll try. If someone skipped the entire thing, you would just have to explain who Mirio and Eri are, and that'd be it.
Yeah, just skip the part where Deku goes 100% and gets a new power. Totally unimportant, idiot.
Oh, right. Those parts were so underwhelming, I forgot they happened. As I was saying, though, there's pretty much no consequences for anything.
What? Did we even watch the same show? There are 2 massive consequences. One changed a main character forever, and the other had me legit tearing up.
Think about it, though. The change they made to that character made them irrelevant for a long time. And if you've read the manga, you know that they eventually fixed that situation, and it's super dumb. It feels like Horikoshi just wrote them out of the story because he didn't know what to do with them. And about the thing that was about to make you cry, if I'm thinking of the correct scene, that's only because of something that was introduced and removed from the story in the same season. So if you skipped it, you wouldn't miss anything. You might just be confused if they show it in a flashback later. By the way, when I say season 4, I'm including the last 2 episodes of season 3 because they do that dumb thing where they start a new arc at the end of every season.
I didn't catch whatever you were just mumbling about, but please tell me you at least thought the big 3 were cool, because they were.
The big 3 never needed to exist. They never do anything in their own arc, let alone the rest of the series. You could completely remove them from the story, and the only thing that would change would be that there's less people in fight scenes.
Yeah, right. They got the majority of screen time and development. They were really fleshed out by the end of it. What are you talking about?
The fact that they got the majority of screen time and development is the problem. They put a ton of time into flashbacks and trying to get us to like them, and as a result, our actual main characters get completely sidelined. Bakugo was in the middle of a redemption arc, and then he's just gone for like 20 episodes. And Uraraka basically just becomes a background character, not to mention guys like Ida, who have just been completely forgotten about at this point. Remember when he was part of the main trio? Well, Horikoshi doesn't. I swear to God, there's not a single fully developed character in the entire cast.
Well, that's kind of the appeal, though. The show has a huge ensemble cast, and pretty much all of them have some development and character growth at this point. Even my boy Mineta got his time to shine in like season 2, I think, and he's just comic relief. Terrible season to complain about this, by the way, because that one red guy gets the best development for a side character in the entire series. Remember the episode where he's teaming up with the fat guy?
Yeah, I remember that. Before I say anything, I will say I love Fat Gum. He's the GOAT. Okay, that's enough positivity now. Yeah, I do remember that episode where they interrupt a tense fight scene with an 8-minute flashback that completely ruins the pacing. BNHA is bad with flashbacks. I mean, for the first 5 seasons, 84% of episodes have flashbacks. I counted. That's 95 out of 113 with 188 total. And among all those, that flashback was the worst one. It's an entire 8 minutes. All they needed to do was set up the necessary information beforehand. In this case, the mental obstacle the dude had to overcome, and then have him think about it during the fight, and bam, bam, bam. Same effect, but it doesn't get in the way of the fight.
You're being dramatic. Sure, it was long, but those 8 minutes were necessary to show us the information and make the moment hype, and it worked. It's one of the best scenes in the entire show, in my humble opinion. And even if it was bad, like you say, you can't act like all the flashbacks are like that.
You're right, usually they aren't that egregious, but boy, they can be real bad. In fact, this very season had some more of the worst ones. I remember in one episode, the characters are just having a conversation, nothing hugely important. But then like 5 minutes later, they're talking again, and they show that exact scene as a flashback. I mean, they just play it all over again. Just have the character mention what they were talking about before. This is taking show don't tell too far. And then there's another one at the final school festival performance where a certain character has a flashback mid-performance. If I remember correctly, it was near the end, but don't quote me on that.
I don't remember that first one ever happening, and I don't get what you're trying to say with that last one. These are total non-issues. What are you trying to say?
Well, in the last one I mentioned, the flashback is serving to set up the character's goal, but the character's goal is being achieved by doing the performance. They put the setup in the middle of the payoff. That's not how it's supposed to work. How am I supposed to have any emotional reaction if it's not set up beforehand and we never see the character struggle? It just feels like a cheap shortcut to character development.
You're taking a quick shortcut to pissing me off right now. All this stuff you're complaining about is all tiny, nitpicky stuff. Nobody else cares.
Look, I do get where you're coming from, and with a better show, I'd be more forgiving. But you see, even the seasons I liked had tons of flaws that annoyed me, but it was exciting, so I didn't care as much. But with a complete bore fest like season 4, it's all the stuff I just talked about, plus the flaws of all the other seasons. That would include shitty backgrounds, as I've talked about before, Minetta, who this season met Eri, a literal child, and said, "I can't wait to see how you look in 10 years. Of course, there's also the bad fan service. Remember that the Bubble Girl tickle scene was this season. Of course, the female characters are all still horrible, and the show's comedy is still awful since they've been running the same 5 jokes into the ground for the last 100 episodes. Wahaha, Bakugo got mad at something. Hilarious, I'm sorry, this show is just bad now. Season 4 was where it fell off, as cemented by the disaster that was season 5. I haven't seen season 6 and I don't plan to. I'll just keep up with the manga. And I don't even like that anymore either, but I might as well see it to the end.
Do you need your binky, Barack? You're crying like a bitch. Sorry, I mean baby.
I'm done. I just had to get it out of my system. Oh, and Deku kind of sucks, by the way.
As much as I love my hero, I do kind of agree on that. He's a big crybaby. Speaking of protagonists, though, have you guys read Ride on King?
No, what's that?
It has my favorite one. It's an isekai manga featuring Putin. Well, not the real Putin, but a guy
All right,
based
time to
on
end the
him.
episode.
What, already?
Shout out to our Obama Maba tier patrons. Mugiri, Birthday Meat, Joe Mama, Tristan No, Yo Flagir, Isaac 34, Jackie 138, Duplex, Ride, Plugin Yami, Jonas, Henry Nelson, Nero 9112, Ruben, Serial Convert, Justin C, Snag, Rainy Blue, and Super Satanson.
Damn, there are more people on our Patreon than people that actually like Ari Ferretta.
Oh, shut the fuck up. We have more patrons than you have years left to live.
Jeez, chill, Donald. Anyways, as one final notice, just so everybody knows, the 3 of us are getting very busy, so we're going to have to change the schedule from weekly to bi-weekly. Thank you for understanding. See you next time.